The first step, the most important step that any man who is serious about maximizing his hormones, his testosterone levels, and garnering the myriad benefits associated with such, not the least of which, making effort feel good, sleeping like a rock, and waking up in the morning as hard as one. Just the vitality, the enthusiasm, the engagement with life. The most important first step is to imply attentionality to that which touches your tongue, teeth, and lips. And where that starts is not the kitchen. It's actually the supermarket. So I'm literally about to take you by the hand and place you in my grocery cart. I'm going to drive to the local Walmart right over yonder, and I'm going to take you along with me for that journey from A to Z, a no-nonsense, full guide and tutorial for how to grocery shop one time per week for about $10 a day to get the highest tier, highest testosterone diet possible. So I've just grabbed my shopping cart, just entering the store right now. And you might be wondering, what turn am I going to take? What trajectory am I going to take? What am I going to be grabbing first? And in my mind at this point, this is all premeditated. I know exactly what I'm going to be buying and in exactly what amounts and in exactly what order. There's no shopping list. There's no cute list that I'm going to be checking off. It's all in my mind. I've already gone through this a million times in my mind. And every step in this sequence has a rhyme and a reason, including that first step there, the procurement of pomegranate juice. This is an unparalleled, unprecedented source of antioxidants. As step number one, just because it's closest to the entrance of the store, it's also step number one because it's frankly the most valuable health insurance policy that you could purchase. Pomegranate juice has been shown prospectively to not only prevent the progression of atherosclerosis, but to physically remove plaque buildup in coronary vessels. And that same plaque development buildup process is also conserved. It also occurs in neurodegenerative diseases. The number one thing that you could do to maintain your cognitive faculties and cardiovascular health long-term is to drink a cup of 100% pomegranate juice every single day. The benefit is not only what you're getting, but it's what you're not getting. It's the fact that unlike most other plant-based foods, especially vegetables, greens, heart-healthy, whole grains, which come with a lot of baggage, a lot of anti-nutrients, a lot of digestive enzyme inhibitors, a lot of heavy metals. Pomegranate juice is just a very benign source of the thing that we actually want. Potent antioxidants, which is going to prevent LDL oxidation and by extension, plaque formation in your arteries. Step number two here, arguably the most important, it's certainly the foundation of the diet that I advocate, beef. Not only the best meat, but the best red meat. There's a lot to unpack here. There was only one food that I could eat for the rest of my life, and if there was only one food that I could recommend any man eat to maximize his masculinity, to optimize his endocrinology, it would be beef. It's a very rich source of bioavailable heme iron to make sure you don't become anemic, It's a great source of zinc. This is going to augment your immune system. It's going to enhance, upregulate your testosterone production. It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to help you feel better, have more energy, more vitality. Beef checks all of the boxes. It is the main staple source of your bioavailable protein, a good source of leucine, which is the rate-limiting amino acid to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. And the fatty acid composition of beef is phenomenal. It's only 2% PUFA. PUFAs are essential. We're talking about EPA and DHA specifically, eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. Those are essential, but in very small amounts. Very, very small amounts. From grass-fed beef, you can satisfy those amounts. You don't have to go out of your way to supplement with fish oil, which is often pre-oxidized and rancid. Beef is not only low in PUFA and linoleic acid, specifically the parent omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid, but it's also quite rich in saturated fat. And the ratio of saturated to polyunsaturated fat, which ideally is 5-to-1 or more, is going to help confer an antioxidant effect throughout your body. You probably never heard of this before. Saturated fat is an antioxidant. It actually is. It's a systemic antioxidant because the phospholipid bilayers of the cells throughout your entire body is a direct reflection of the ratios of fats that you consume. Step number 3 here is beef liver. This is frozen raw beef liver, which I don't see as a dietary staple so much as a supplement in a sense that I'm stacking on top of the beef and also balancing with the beef. So most redeeming quality of beef liver is actually its copper content. Having ample copper is essential in the context of a diet that's very bioavailable in certainly heme iron and zinc. So the ratio of zinc to copper, you want to aim for around 10-to-1. And the problem is without liver or an amino acid chelated copper supplement, you're likely going to be far north of that 10-to-1 ratio. And by extension, you're going to be a bit copper deficient. And beef liver is also basically a bomb of B vitamins. I see it as nature's multivitamin, and I just pop a piece of it, so to speak, with each meal. So I pre-cut it into about 1/4 ounce bits, and I'll just eat one of those with each of my meals. So about 1/2 ounce of beef liver per day, and that gives me the amount of copper that I'm seeking. The next step here is the procurement of eggs. So my mom actually grew up on an egg farm. She always taught me to double check the eggs, make sure none of them are cracked prior to purchase. And it's actually paid off here because the first carton there that I had checked actually did have at least a hairline crack, not what we like to see. Just get the best eggs that you can. If it's cage-free, it's cage-free. If it's free roam, even better. If it's pasture-raised, phenomenal. That's the creme de la creme of eggs. One of the reasons we need to be very cognizant of the egg quality is the fact that the chickens that lay those eggs, those are monogastric animals, and the corn and soy that these chickens are fed nowadays results in an ancestrally inconsistently high amount of an inflammatory fat called linoleic acid. It's the parent omega-6 polyunsaturated fat. And you're not just what you eat, but what you eat ate. And that linoleic acid is something that you end up inheriting when you consume eggs of poor quality. That linoleic acid bioaccumulates in your own body fat and has a systemic inflammatory impact. So that's why ideally we would opt for pasture raised. The litmus test of such, of the quality of your egg purchases and consumption, is the degree of richness of the yolk. It's the color of the yolk. The darker it is, the more orange colored, the higher the quality, and the more micronutrient rich that egg is. Never toss out the yolks. Eat the whole egg. The yolk is going to be the best source of your fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. It's a good source of iodine. It's a great source of choline, of cholesterol, a testosterone precursor. My recommendation is 2 to 4 eggs, whole eggs, every day. Step 5, full-fat dairy. This is truly a superfood. So for those of you who are lactose tolerant and you digest dairy well, milk checks all of the boxes. It is an unfair, overpowered food in every sense of that word. Everything from iodine to potassium to magnesium to leucine. That's an amino acid that is the rate-limiting step to stimulating MPS, muscle protein synthesis. Milk has casein and whey, two of the most arguably anabolic proteins and anti-catabolic proteins on the planet. The ratios of fat in milk are unparalleled. It has not only the 2% PUFA content that beef does, that's polyunsaturated fatty acids, but it's also more than 50% saturated, conferring you with the aforementioned systemic antioxidant effect throughout your body. So now you see him trekking a different territory here. You might be a little bit concerned, because I always say, stick to the perimeter of your local grocery store of choice. And there are a couple of exceptions to this, a couple that aren't in this video, like frozen blueberries, I believe you can find down one of the aisles. You can get coconut oil down these aisles. But you can also get basmati rice, which is technically a refined grain, right? You're like, wait a minute, that's not the heart-healthy whole grain, chock full of fiber that I've been told to consume. And that's exactly right. It's not. The reason we want rice in our diet is for the starch content, for the carbohydrates, to enhance our testosterone to cortisol ratio, to improve our sleep, to enhance our workouts, to replete our muscle glycogen. The more intense your training, the more sets per muscle group per week that you're training with, the more starch that you are going to benefit from for the aforementioned reasons. But we want the benefits without the drawbacks, without the fiber, which is going to lower your testosterone, without the phytic acid, which is going to render the nutrients and everything else you're eating concomitantly with the rice less bioavailable. So that's beef. We don't want the nutrients in our beef to be less bioavailable because we're eating them alongside brown rice, a whole grain form. We'd rather strip away the phytic acid, the arsenic, and so forth, make our beef more bioavailable, and let the rice shine in the light that it was meant to. Similar to distilled water. It's interesting, people will bemoan the consumption of that because it doesn't have the minerals, the electrolytes that perhaps a reverse osmosis or spring water would have. You don't drink water to satisfy your micronutrient needs. You drink water to hydrate you. So that's why I drink distilled water, because I know that I'm not getting anything but dihydrogen monoxide, H2O, water, pure, purest on the planet, rainwater. That's what I want. I don't want anything else tagging along for the ride, because I'll let my nutrition do the heavy lifting. I'll let my beef satisfy my micronutrient needs. You can see here I'm at the self-checkout, and This hasn't taken that long, has it? You can see each step in this process was premeditated. I knew exactly what I was doing the second I stepped into this grocery store. And I wish the same for you. You can see here, I'm actually going to scan the QR code to finish my purchase. Instead of using a credit card, I'm going to use my phone, the Walmart app, and it's going to create a digital receipt. This entire diet, my entire lifestyle philosophy is designed to enhance your hormones. And the very thing that is your proof of purchase of the things that accomplish that enhance your hormones, is something that will detract from your hormones. It's an endocrine disrupting chemical called the BPA, bisphenol A, which receipt paper is notoriously rich in. And also just notice all of the temptations right there at the checkout, right? At people's weakest moment, right as they're making a purchase, probably for their family, spending over a Benjamin for their weekly food. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Of course, your food is going to cost money. But then these impulse buys, you're going to be more likely to buy these dopamine spiking foods, the cola, the Pepsis, the Reese's Pieces, all of this nonsense. So you can see I just walked past the man at the entrance. Sometimes he will check for your receipt. And that's precisely why I had my phone ready in hand to show him that if he needed to see the digital receipt. Now, I hope you're getting the sense that this is replicable. This can be done for you. You can do this. You can have a top-tier testosterone maxing diet for about $10 per day. I hope you realize how attainable this is, just how in reach it is for you, and how easily you can execute on this. You may not, however, digest dairy. Maybe you're lactose intolerant. Maybe you have some other form of food allergy or intolerance, or there's a lack of accessibility for whatever reason to something that I've shown in this video for you. And if that's the case, let me know. And I can help tailor this map to you. We can fine-tune the legend to make it correspond to your stride length. We can modify the map to help you navigate the territory more effectively. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Again, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. I love you very much. Until next time, my friend, find your freedom. Peace.